Okay. First bill we'll take up is Representative Morgan's bill, House Bill 5345. This would authorize the PUC to use emergency powers to suspend all utility payments to restaurants during a state of emergency with a 36-month interest-free repayment plan commencing 3 months after the emergency ends, retroactive to March 2020. Representative Morgan.
Yes, hi, thank you very much, Chairman. I appreciate your letting me go first. And welcome, hi to everybody else on the committee. This bill is intended to help our restaurants. Prior to the pandemic, well, in 2019, our restaurants had $2.8 billion worth of sales. They employed 55,900 workers, which was 11% of our workforce. It is a huge portion of Rhode Island's economy. Now that we have the coronavirus, the effects of the pandemic have been devastating to our restaurants. 96% of all restaurants have had to lay off workers, and that has resulted in 36,000 restaurant workers being idled and on unemployment. 85% of all restaurants say they are not profitable because even though they may be open, they just are not bringing in enough people to be profitable. 38% of restaurants fear that they will go out of business permanently. And we know, I know everybody has some restaurant in their community that has closed during the last year. This bill is intended to help them not only just hang on, but recover so that they can be strong again. And what it does is it mandates that all of the utility companies, so that would be electric, gas, water, sewer, telephone, and cable, would set up 36-month, no interest, no penalty payment plans for restaurants. So that, and it would start, the 36 months would start when the pandemic is officially declared over. So when they are able to open up with 100% capacity and the normal hours, or the hours that they were traditionally open. I actually got this idea from a restaurant owner. He said even though, they're open, they really are having a real struggle paying all the utilities, because even though they're only bringing in 25% of the customers, they have to pay to heat their building, they have to keep the electricity on, they're still paying their taxes, they're still paying their sewer bills, their water bills. It's a real struggle for them to stay open. Now, I understand that this would put a cost on the utility companies. I understand that. It's not my intention that these restaurant owners get forgiven their bills. They will still have to pay their bills. They'll just have longer to pay it. And it is really important that we return the restaurant industry to health. They are, like I said, 11% of our economy. It is not a small amount. So that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Representative Morgan. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Representative Finn-Fung.
Thank you, Representative Morgan. The only ways I can make this bill better is, I think 3 years is excessive. I just think it's a very long runway. I would like to see it expanded to more small businesses and not just restaurants, and have a shorter runway. I think that I understand the certain issues with restaurants, but I think this is the time to be really bold when we're talking about small businesses and legislation that's affecting them. I think every small business is having a little trouble. Just to give them a little runway, I think it could definitely be expanded beyond this. I'm not sure 36 months is necessary. I'm willing to listen to it all, but I definitely think it'd be interesting to
36 months was suggested to me because they are really in the hole now, and it'll take them a full year just to kind of get back to where they're a little bit more comfortable, let alone making up the old past bills. But I agree. I mean, I actually had somebody from gymnasiums saying, we've been devastated too. Could we be added on to this? So there might be other categories that you want to add, and that would be fine with me. I mean, I think we can't add everybody, right? But there are some that have been incredibly affected by the coronavirus.
Yeah, I think when we're looking at small businesses, especially that, if you're using the ACA definition of 50 and below, I think everything we can possibly do to keep them in business
Yeah.
is in Rhode Island's best interest in the long run, and especially, we're not going to be able to get these guys back up. If they go out, they're not coming back in 6
That's
months,
right.
7 months. And
Yeah.
I think this is a very sound investment, so I appreciate you bringing up the bill.
Yeah, and again, this is not to relieve them of their bills. They do have to pay them eventually. It just gives them a little bit more time.
Are there any other questions for the sponsor? Representative Chippendale, Whip Chippendale.
Thank you, Chairman. I think this legislation is desperately needed. We're talking about an industry that operates with anywhere from a 3 to 6% margin.
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances. And what they deal with that some of the other industries don't is spoilage. Right now, it's exceptionally difficult for restaurants to plan and order their product in a manner that minimizes spoilage, which is like throwing money out the window. So Rhode Island being famous for a lot of things, but certainly famous for its outstanding restaurants, and watching the evening news and learning that they're going out of business is tough for all Rhode Islanders, not to mention the folks who put their entire lives into their restaurants that they have to close. So I think this is a small thing that we're asking of the utility companies as partners to do to help us all get through this, because they may take a little deferment on the payments here, but it's better than losing a customer altogether. So I would hope my colleagues are agreeable to this particular proposal.
Yeah,
Thank you, Rep. Moore.
and I just want to mention again that the data is 38% more of the restaurants that are currently open are saying they are in danger of failing right now. So whatever we can do to send them a lifeline, it really is in the best interest of the state altogether.
Okay, thank
All
you. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
There is written testimony from Jackie Goldmaud in favor, Jordan Goyette in favor, and we received testimony against from National Grid, Michael Ryan. And that concludes the testimony on House Bill 5345.